Okay, so today we will start on solving systems of linear inequalities. So this will be what we did before with the dotted and solid line and shading. It's just now we're going to do two equations at the same time. So again, I'm just doing two or more inequalities. The solution is going to be an ordered pair that is true. The graph is going to be the graph of all of our solutions. So the graph of a system of inequalities is going to be all solutions. It's going to happen where the shading overlaps. So we're going to have two lines, both with the shadings, and where the shading is overlapping, that's where we will have our solutions to our system. So with these problems, again, set up similarly. With the first equation, x is less than 4. Again, I'm going to, since it's just x and 4, I'm going to know that x is always equal to 4, y is 1, 2, 3, or whatever I want to make it be. And so when I do that, I should get a vertical line. These are the three ordered pairs. And then I can draw my line. Oopsie. So I get a vertical line. This one should be dotted because, again, when I look at my inequality sign, it's just less than. It's not less than or equal to, so it's going to be a dotted line. Then, just like we had done before, I'm going to test a point to shade. So I'm going to test the point 0, 0. And so, again, I plug in a 0. I go 0 and 4 into my original equation. That's true, and so I want to shade towards my test point. I don't actually want to go ahead, though, and shade, because if I shade too heavily, I won't be able to see where the overlap is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw little arrows telling me that with this blue line, I'm going to shade to the left of that. My my next equation, the one in red, I can do that one then. Again, I can do an XY chart. With this one, let's see, I get 0, negative 2. Let's see, by threes, so negative 3 and negative 6. So I should have 0, 2, or 0, negative 2. That is 6, 0, and 3, negative 1, and then negative 3 and negative 4. So when I plot those points, and then this one is going to be a solid line because, oopsie, this one's going to be a solid line. Again, it's a solid line because my inequality sign has a solid line underneath of it. And so then, again, I want to test my ordered pairs 0, 0. So when I plug in a 0 for x and a 0 for y, I go 0 is greater than or equal to 1/3 times 0 minus 2. So when I do that, I get 0 is greater than or equal to negative 2. This is true. And so with this one, I'm going to shade towards my test point. So again, I'm going to do arrows towards my test point. And so what I want to see is I want to shade the, kind of have 4 parts of my graph, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so I want to know the portion of my graph where my shading is going to overlap. And so I want it to be to the left of my blue line and above my red line. And so if I see that, I should be able to see that this is the portion of the graph that I want to shade in. That's where the solution of my system of inequalities is going to be. The same thing with the second one. Y is equal to negative 1. Negative 1 in my column, and then 1, 2, and 3. So when I do that, I get 1, negative 1, 2, negative 2, and 2, negative 1, and then 3, negative 1. Again, it's going to be a horizontal line. It's going to be a solid line because of my inequality symbol. And then I can plug in a 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to negative 1? This is true, so I know that I'm going to shade towards my test point. 0, 0 is right there, and so this one is going to go towards, above the blue line. With the second one, again, same thing. You can do my XY table. Let's see, I can go -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So it starts, I've got 0, 4. Oops, 2.5. And 1. 5.5. And 7. Oops, yeah, that's right. So here's my red line. This is going to be a dotted line because, again, my inequality symbol right here doesn't have a line underneath of it. And then when I plug it in, I can plug in a 0 for my y and a 0 for my x. So I get 0 and 4. That's another true. And so I'm going to shade towards my test point, which again is going to be kind of like down and to the left. And so again, where the shading, I want it to be above the blue line and down and to the left of the red line. And so I end up with this piece right here of this graph. That's where my system of inequalities happens at. With these, again, same thing. These are going to be two lines with slope. And so I'm going to get my x or my y by itself first. Get y is greater than or equal to -2 minus 2x. So when I do that, I get my xy table. So this is -2. So when I plot this graph, there's my graph. It's going to be a solid line. Oops. Then again, I'm going to plug into my original equation. My test point is 0, 0. So when I do that, I get 0 and -2. And this is true. So I'm going to shade towards my test point, which is 0, 0, which is going to be up and to the right. Bottom equation, same thing. So when I subtract my 2x over to the other side, I get 4 minus 2x. There we go. There are my ordered pairs. One off. This one's going to be a dotted line, again, because my inequality symbol doesn't have a solid line underneath of it. And then when I test the ordered pair, put a 0 in for x and y, I get 0 and 4. That's true. So since it's true, I'm going to go towards my test point is 0, 0. So what you see happens here is I have two lines going at each other. So the solution is going to be in between those two lines. Parallel lines, and my solution happens in between them. I want to see if the ordered pair 1, 1 is a solution. And so if I look, there's the ordered pair 1, 1. The ordered pair 1, 1 is in the shading, and so I know that is 1, 1 a solution? Yes, it is, because it's in where the shading overlapping. Here, again, same thing, get my y by itself. Y is less than or equal to 6 minus x. if I just continue the pattern on, that's what my graph's going to look like. It's a solid line. Test my ordered pair. Plug in a 0 for my x and y. So I get 0 and 6. That's true. So I'm going to shade towards my test point. Do the same thing with the second one. Subtract the 2x over to the other side. Get negative 4y is less than 8 minus 2x. And then divide everything by negative 4. So I get y. Make sure you flip your sign because I divided by a negative. 1/2 x. So when I graph that, should get something looking like this. This one's going to be a dotted line again because my inequality sign is just a less than sign, no or equal to. And then when I plug in my test point, 0, 0, 0 for x and a 0 for y, I get 0 and 8. That's another true one. They won't always turn out true. So since it's true, I want to go towards 0, 0. And so my shading overlap is happening on this part of my graph right here. Down and to the left of the blue line, up and to the left of the red line. And so again, I want to be able to see if the ordered pair 3, 4 is a solution. So the ordered pair 3, 4 is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's the ordered pair solution of 3, 4. Right there. That will not be a solution. Won't be a solution because it's not where the shading is overlapping at.